Lawn and garden expert Walter Reeves offers some tips on how we can conserve and protect water outside the home.
One of the best ways to keep water in the ground is to use mulch underneath your plants, underneath your shrubs and your flowers. Mulch is just like, well, it's just like in the wintertime when you're cold. You put the blanket over yourself to hold the heat in. Mulch is a blanket that keeps moisture in the soil. Now we're using pine straw here because it's very common here in Georgia. But there are other materials that you could use too, including ground up hardwood and pine bark chips. They all work very well as a mulch material. The rule is to use a layer about 1 inch to 3 inches high, and that keeps the moisture or the irrigation or the rainfall in the ground where you want it. Another great way to hold moisture in the soil is to put organic matter in this normally heavy clay that we have in Georgia. Organic matter can be compost you make yourself, or it can be compost that you buy at the store. But the best thing is put a layer about 2 inches thick on top of the ground and then mix it in really good. You want to mix it in down about 6 or 8 inches. That's where the roots of the plant are, and that is exactly where you want the moisture to be released during the summer when it's dry. Even though there's a water feature in this landscape, it's important to choose plants that are drought tolerant. This is Mexican hyssop. Hardly ever needs watering during the summertime, but boy can it take the heat and keep on blooming with those great pink flowers. This is creeping thyme. You can see how hot it gets amongst all these rocks down here, but creeping thyme is a great ground cover, even in full sunshine with the rocks and the heat all around it. And here's one that I really like because it has seasonal interest. This is called sedum. Sedum has a succulent leaf on it, very thick right here. During the spring, the leaves look sort of like cabbage, but during the summer and the fall, the flowers come up and they're white at first, then they turn gray, and then they have a nice brown color that goes on through the winter time. It's important to choose plants that save water and don't mind the heat. When you use water in the landscape, it's important to save water. Use soaker hoses that you put underneath the shrubbery and the flowers. And when you use a sprinkler, be sure to use a rain gauge so you know exactly how much water you've put out and when to cut it off. It's important to save water, but it's also just as important to protect water. And you protect water by keeping your lawn chemicals on your lawn. Fertilizers, insecticides, herbicides, all of them need to stay on the grass, not on the street. Because on the street, they eventually run into a gutter that runs into a stream that can affect aquatic life and can make it more difficult to treat our water for drinking.
Here are some other things to remember. Don't overwater your lawn or plants. Water deeply and less frequently. This promotes strong root growth, which enables plants to better withstand drought conditions. If you do water, water before 10 in the morning or after 4 in the afternoon. That's when outdoor watering is permitted, and winds are generally lighter and temperatures lower. That way, less water will evaporate. When you mow your lawn, raise your blade to at least 3 inches. A higher cut lawn will encourage roots to grow deeper. And use a broom, not a hose, to clean the driveway or sidewalk. This will save you tons of water and money and burn some calories too.